محمد وآل محمد صلوات. محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, we'll start the program for the 19th night of Ramadan. We'll start with the majlis for the evening. And after that, inshallah, we'll go into the amal for the night. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat. Haye Hussein, pyase Hussein. Haye Hussein, pyase Hussein. Haye Hussein, pyase Hussein. Haye Hussein, pyase Hussein. दमिश्क में जो गरीबों का काफिला पहुंचा, यजीद ने सने दरबार में बुला भेजा। बहन से शेख की शहादत का वाकया पूछा। तड़प के बिन्ते अली ने यजीद से ये कहा, ज़मी की गोद में इस्लाम का सितारा है। ज़मी की गोद में इस्लाम का सितारा है। मेरे गरीब को लाखों ने मिल के मारा है। आए हुसैन, प्यासे हुसैन। आए हुसैन। कहा यजीद से ज़ैनब ने ऐ सितम मारा, गज़ब किया तेरे लश्कर ने रोज़े आशूरा। मेरे हुसैन को जंगल में घेर के मारा। अली का कर दिया बर्बाद घर का घर सारा। जो बेकफन है अभी तक नबी का प्यारा है। जो बेकफन है अभी तक नबी का प्यारा है। मेरे गरीब को लाखों ने मिल के मारा है। आए हुसैन, प्यासे हुसैन। आए हुसैन, प्यासे हुसैन। शहीद हो गए अब्बासो कासिमो अकबर। वो मेरे औनो मुहम्मद, वो मेरे नूर नज़र। तुझे मैं ढूंढूं कहाँ बेजुबान है असगर। बताओ बीबियों मेरो हाय किस किस पर। शकीने सिबते पैगंबर का सर उतारा है। शकीने सिबते पैगंबर का सर उतारा है। मेरे गरीब को लाखों ने मिल के मारा है। आए हुसैन, प्यासे हुसैन। आए हुसैन प्यासे हुसैन आए हुसैन प्यासे हुसैन आए हुसैन प्यासे हुसैन मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
محمد صلوات मुँह चूम कर शह ने कहा ले सकीना अलविदा बाबा तेरा मरने चला ले सकीना अलविदा मुँह चूम कर शह ने कहा बाहे गले में डाल दे और मुँह पे मुँह रख दे मेरे बाहे गले में डाल दे और मुँह पे मुँह रख दे मेरे बाबा तेरा रन को चला ले सकीना अलविदा मुँह चूम कर शह ने कहा अब हम कहाँ और तुम कहाँ देखोगे क्या क्या ख्वारियाँ अब हम कहाँ और तुम कहाँ देखोगे क्या क्या ख्वारियाँ मिले गले ए मेरी जान ले सकीना अलविदा मुँह चूम कर शह ने कहा बाबा फिदा है माहरू बेवारिसो वाली है तू बाबा फिदा है माहरू बेवारिसो वाली है तू बेटी न जिद करना कभी ले सकीना अलविदा मुँह चूम कर शह ने कहा मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Before we invite Sheikh to the minbar, just a couple of quick little announcements. Inshallah, we'll begin the amal immediately after the program today. So if everybody can stay close so we can get straight into the amal. We would like to remember all of the marhumeens from all of our families that are no longer with us, especially the marhumeen of the Haji family, the Ali Bhai family, the Karim Boy family, Fazl family, the Nanji family, as well as the marhumeen from all of our families. Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. Bismillah. With a loud salawat, if we can welcome Shaykh Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, salawat. Allahumma salli.
رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين مولانا وسيدنا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرض مولانا حجة ابن الحسن عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم. My respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created us, He did something amazing. When He created the human being, He did something amazing. He put a feeling into each and every insan, each and every Bani Adam, each and every child of Hazrat Adam, regardless of religion, regardless of time, place. In every single one of us, He put a feeling. And that feeling is that we belong to Him. That feeling is that we have to find Him, that we have to search for Him, that somehow we are incomplete without our Lord. This is from His mercy. This ingredient in the human being is from His mercy. So every human being naturally feels that I'm lacking something when I don't have my Lord. Every human being feels that something is not right. Sometimes we confuse this. Sometimes we think, okay, I'm feeling down. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling depressed. I'm not talking about the medical diagnoses of depression and anxiety when we have physiological problems and imbalances. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people generally feeling down, unfulfilled. They're feeling something's wrong, life is not going right, things are going wrong. I don't feel good, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I feel down, there's no happiness in my life. I feel lonely. Some people, they have their whole family around them, but they're lonely. Some people, they have lots of friends, but they're lonely. Because there's an ingredient inside every one of us, which is that I have to find my Lord. And I have to get closer to Allah. We mix this up with other feelings, but this is actually what's going on. That we have to find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To find Him, number one, He puts this feeling in us. That is from His mercy. He's telling us that, look, I've created you, but I've not left you. Don't think I'm a Lord who just creates and then steps back and then says, okay, over to you now, good luck. Lead your life in the way that you want. No. He's put this feeling in us. This is number one. Number two, he says, you know what? Not only will I give you a feeling to keep you motivated, not only is there this thing inside you that you will always feel that something is missing, I need something. I will also show you the way to find me. You find me through different acts of worship, different laws, different systems, different things that I have made. Use these things and come towards me. He goes one step further. He says, not only that, I will also give you a manual. I'll give you a book which will last until the day of judgment. Whenever you're not sure about something, whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like something is wrong, open this book. Look inside it. Recite a few words from it. Recite a few verses from it, and you will find me. Janab Fatima, salamullahi alayha, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. She says something so beautiful. She says, every time I want to speak with Allah, I pray namaz. Every time I want Allah to speak with me, I recite the Quran. Every time I want Allah to speak with me, I recite the Quran. So I've given you a manual. He's given us a manual. Not only that, he says, still I won't leave you. Still I'll help you. I'll even give you a role model. Not one, but 124,000. Not 124,000, but even 13 more afterwards, the Masumin, Bibi Fatima and the 12 Imams. All of these will act as a role model for you. You can base your life upon them. You can trust them. You can copy them. You can emulate them. You can base your life on them. You can follow their words. You can follow their teachings. All of this is done for us to find Allah. For us to use our lives and find Allah again. Then whatever else we do has to be in this same road, in this same route. Whether we work, you work for what? What do you work for? Find Allah in your work. You have relationships for what? Find God in your relationships. You have marriages for what? Find Allah in your family unit. You have parents, you have children, you have grandchildren, you have aunts, uncles. Find Allah there. You have your hobbies and pastimes. Find Allah there. You'll say, Shaykh, what are you talking about? How can we find Allah in these things? Well, it takes time, but you will eventually see this. Once you start this process is a beautiful process. You'll see Allah in everything. Amir al-Mu'mineen was asked, Oh Ali, you worship as if you see Allah. You worship as if you see Allah. This is how you stand and you cry and you tremble and you shake. And sometimes you even become unconscious with the fear of God and the awe of God and the love of God overwhelms you. He says, I don't worship a God that I don't see. They said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what do you mean you see Allah? He says, I don't see Him with these eyes. I see Him with these eyes. I see Allah in everything. So we are tasked with finding Allah. This is why we're on this earth. This is why He's given us life. This is why He's given us our connections. This is why He's given us our health for a time, our vitality for a time, our energy for a time. It's for this reason. But on top of this still, He says, still I won't leave you. Still I will give you more. This ingredient of yours which I've put inside you, it needs to be fulfilled. So now I will help you even more. One of the things, on top of all of these things which He has given us, is that we need a mentor. In all of your professions, in my profession, in all of our businesses and professions, no matter what field of work you're in, you'll have to do some kind of mentoring. You'll have to become a junior doctor before you become a senior doctor. You'll have to be an understudy before you can become a master. You'll have to be an apprentice before you become an expert. In all of this, we'll have a mentor. You need a mentor. In Islam, we need a mentor. Where is this mentor? Who is this mentor? Where do we find this mentor? We're living in places far away from the rest of civilization. I come to LA, mashallah, my kids tell me, are you free to speak? And I'm like, you won't believe the time difference. Your iftar is my beginning of roza sometimes. We're far away from everywhere. So who is this mentor that's going to help us in this wilderness that we find ourselves in sometimes? Sometimes these mentors are human mentors. Now this is very rare that you'll find a good human mentor on the path of Allah. Yes, in those places where we have, for example, our harams and the ulama are there and the very highly spiritual people of this world are there, yes, alhamdulillah, it's easier to find a mentor. And we have lots of incidents in history. I was reading, for example, there was a man, he was saying, regarding one of these famous mentors of the recent times, who hasn't passed away, it's not been long since he's passed away. He says, I was in a problem. My business was failing. He was a property developer, and he would sell properties and build properties and sell properties. He was saying, I was in a big problem. I had taken so many loans to build houses and build apartments. The houses were built, apartments were built, all of a sudden they're not selling. And the debtors are knocking at my door, saying it's time to pay up. Now what are you doing? Your loan is due. You have to start making payments. Now what do? I was stuck. I was in such a situation, I went to one of these mentors. I said to this mentor, Agha, help me. I don't know what to do. I'm praying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Nothing is selling. The debtors are at my door. I'm in trouble. I'm getting final reminders. I'm getting final notices. He, using whatever spiritual power he had, he looked at me and he said, listen, you have a problem. Your problem is that there's something wrong. You have mistreated your sister. He said, Agha, no. Me and my sister, we get along very well. There's no issue between us. We haven't cut relationships or anything like that. We talk to each other. He said, no, think. There is something wrong. And he thought, and he said, you know what, you're right. Actually, now I remember. When our father passed away a few years ago, he had told me, make sure you take care of your sister. And I was meant to give her some of the inheritance which I had forgotten. In that whole rush, when someone dies, there's a lot of things going on. In the whole rush of burying and taking care of his estate and affairs, I had forgotten this. It was a genuine mistake. He says, go and make it up to her. So he owed her, let's say, for example, 2,000. He went and he paid her 4,000, for example. He made it up to her and more. Comes back and he says, Agha, I've done it now. Is that enough? Am I okay now? He says, no. He says, still your sister is not happy with you. He says, now what? He says, tell me, your sister, is she in her own accommodation or she rents from someone? He says, no, she rents. He says, you are a property developer. You make houses and you sell them to other people. Your own sister is in rented accommodation. This makes her feel bad. This in her life is something that makes her feel bad. Get her out of this rented situation. He says, look, Agha, you told me to give her the money, I gave her. I gave her even more. Now you're telling me to give one of my houses. Listen, I am a business partner with someone else. I can't just go to my partner and say, look, we need to give my sister a house. He said, that's your problem. I'm telling you the issue. This is the thing is blocking you. Is blocking your progress. Your du'as are not being answered because your sister is not happy with you. He goes and somehow he speaks to his business partner. He convinces him and eventually they give the house, one of the apartments to the sister. She gets out of a rented accommodation. He says, Wallahi al-Azim, after doing that, the next day, my houses began to sell. My houses began to sell. Debts were paid. Profit was coming in. I made lots of money. Debtors were satisfied. All the bills were paid. All the final demands and notices were taken care of. We need a mentor. But where is this mentor for us? Let me tell you about Agha Hassan Zadeh. Agha Hassan Zadeh, fantastic personality. He's passed away only in the last few years. Agha Hassan Zadeh, he says even a more delicate thing than this. Agha Hassan Zadeh was known as a very spiritual personality. He was a scholar in all respects, but his spirituality was on next level. Very highly spiritual person. He narrates one incident from his life. Let's have a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He narrates an incident from his life. He says, on one occasion, it was summertime, hot weather. And his usual practice was this. He would wake up early in the morning. He would do his studies, do his prayers, do his readings, do whatever he needed to do. Come afternoon, he would pray, take his lunch, and then he would sleep for a couple of hours. Afternoon nap. That afternoon nap would give him the energy that he needed to go then, wake up, and then go until the evening with more activities. On this hot day, summer, peak summer of the Middle East, he comes home, he does all that he needs to do. He's preparing to sleep now. He goes to his room and tries to sleep. Outside his room, the children of the house, for some reason that day, they were in the house, running around, messing around, doing all of their playing, shouting, laughing, joking with one another. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep. He was tired, it was hot. All of a sudden, he stands up, he loses his sabr, he opens a door, and he shouts at the children. He says, "Bacha, children, what is this? Come on, I'm trying to sleep." And he closes the door and he goes back. He says, "From that moment, I did not have any peace." He said, "Something was inside me. I was feeling so guilty that these children, I must have broken their hearts." He says, "These children, I must have broken their hearts." See, when you're a spiritual person, which we all, inshallah, will try to be in our lives, may Allah give us tawfiq. When you're a spiritual person, even the smallest thing will bug you. And if you're a hard-hearted person, then even the biggest thing will not bug you. Sometimes it's amazing how people, they can go about their day swearing at people, shouting at people, mistreating people, conning people, frauding people. It doesn't have any effect on them. Why? Somehow their heart has become very hard. But when your heart is soft, when your heart is in the hands of Allah, then it feels things much more. All of a sudden, he's feeling guilty. I shouted at these children. I broke their hearts. They must be feeling down. He says, "Let me make it up to them." He goes out, he buys some sweets. He brings these sweets back, he gives it to the children. Still he's saying to himself, "No, this is not right. I feel something is wrong. I feel somehow spiritually I've been affected." He says, there's no other choice. I must go and meet my teacher. His teacher lived far away in the city of Tabriz. He makes his way from wherever he was to Tabriz. Long journey, especially in those days. Those days the transporting and everything was very difficult. Makes it to Tabriz. His teacher was who? Let me tell you. You've heard of Allama Muhammad Hussain Tabatabai? You've heard of the name? He's the author of the famous tafsir of the Quran, Al-Mizan. You've heard that name, right? Allama had a brother called Muhammad Ilahi Tabatabai. This was Muhammad Hussain, that was Muhammad Hassan Ilahi Tabatabai, brother of Allama. He was the teacher of Agha Hassan Zadeh. Agha Hassan Zadeh says, "I need to go and meet my teacher." He goes all the way to Tabriz. Now, Agha Ilahi Tabatabai, his gift from Allah was what? Very special. Allah had gifted him the ability to communicate with the souls who have deceased from this world. In Islam, we don't have anything like Ouija board or summoning the dead, or we don't have things like haunting and ghosts. We don't believe in that. But we do have the ability to communicate with the dead. That's a whole other chapter. We're not going to go into that right now. Agha Ilahi Tabatabai had this gift. Agha Hassan Zadeh comes to Tabriz, he knocks on the door. Agha Ilahi Tabatabai opens the door. "Salam, how are you?" This, that. They exchange all the niceties. He's called inside, he's sat down. In the middle of this niceties and formalities, all of a sudden, the teacher says, "Agha Hassan Zadeh, oh Hassan Zadeh, Agha Qazi is not happy with you." Qazi was the grand teacher of all of these spiritual people. He's another person. Don't have time right now to go into his history either. He's passed away. He had died by then. He says to him, "Agha Qazi is not happy with you." Agha Hassan Zadeh says, "Now what? What has happened? I've not even said anything yet. I've not even told you my issue." Agha Ilahi tells him, "Agha Qazi is not happy with you. Agha Qazi says the following, tell Hassan Zadeh, does he think he can speak to people like this and still serve Imam-e-Zaman? Does he think that this kind of behavior will allow him to serve Imam-e-Zaman?" This is the beauty of a mentor in Islam. How they beautifully guide us, how they beautifully tell us things, to have an impact upon us. Now, where is our mentor? Who is going to be our mentor for us? We don't live in those cities, we don't live in those places where these kinds of personalities typically are. Now, which is our mentor? Let me give you a good news. We all have a mentor. Every single one of us has a mentor. This mentor is so powerful. It is so amazing. It is such a life changer. It will change your life. It will fulfill this ingredient of searching for God. It will fulfill your yearning for Allah. It will sort out your worldly issues. It will sort out your akhirat issues. It will help you in your life to feel less lonely, to feel more fulfilled, to feel more spiritual, to feel more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That mentor is namaz. Namaz. This namaz that we pray, this daily namaz, this is your mentor. Namaz is such a powerful thing. We have not yet understood namaz, and we have not yet communicated properly what is namaz. If we understood namaz properly, Ya Allah, our life would change. Namaz is the mentor. Namaz will sort out everyone's problems, everyone's issues. Namaz will help you like you won't believe. However, I'll go one step further. Not only is namaz a mentor, it's a personal trainer. When you go to namaz, each of us has a different issue. One of us has an anger issue. One of us has a jealousy issue. One of us is lazy. One of us has too much love for the world. One of us cannot stop a certain sin. One of us is nasty to other people. One of us has short temper. One of us can't speak properly. One of us can't communicate properly. One of us comes across wrong. One of us can't make friends. We all have a different issue in this room. Namaz will treat everyone according to their individual issue and need. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's a tailor-made program which everyone will benefit from. That is the beauty of namaz. However, to benefit from namaz, we need to do a few things. Let me explain with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The first thing that we need to do when we come to namaz is that we have to understand that we have to change the way we look at namaz. What is namaz at the moment for us? Be truthful. What is namaz at the moment for us? For a lot of people, it's a nuisance. It's the thing in the middle of the day and in the middle of the evening which we can't be bothered for. We don't have time. Our bodies are too tired. Our mind is too exhausted. It is the least thing we look forward to. It happens to come in the middle of the most crucial times. I'm sleeping a lovely sleep, all of a sudden namaz. I have to interrupt my sleep. I'm in the middle of my working day, I'm making a lot of money, in the middle of it comes namaz. I have to leave my work, I have to leave my clients, I have to leave my customers and my patients, I have to attend to namaz. I'm home at the end of a grueling long day, I'm tired. What do I have to do? Namaz. For most of us, this is what namaz is. But in this discussion which I'm having with you, this is not namaz. Namaz is alive. Namaz is active. Namaz is a healer. Namaz is a problem solver. Namaz is an active part of your life. It's something which has a life. It's something that on the day of judgment will come to you and say, do you remember me? Do you know me? You'll say, no, who are you? It will say, I am with you all the way. I am accompanying you. I am that 2 rakat namaz you prayed that day. This is the form Allah has sent me in. They say that when a person dies, when a person leaves this world, that time period when he's just leaving this world and entering into the next world. Have you been ever by the side of someone who's dying? I have been, so I can talk from experience. But I'm sure you've all been, because in our culture, it's a very beautiful thing that we never leave the side of a dying person, right? You may have noticed that when the person dies, as he's going into his last moments, he will say some very strange things. He or she will say some very strange things. They will say, for example, they can see certain things. They will say, I can hear certain things. We very quickly Dismiss these things like, oh my God, his brain is scrambled. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's talking nonsense. His body is rejecting him, so he's seeing strange things. We dismiss it like this. No. In fact, in our hadith, what we believe is, when a person is going towards those final stages, he enters a period called ihtizar. Have you heard of this term? Ihtizar. Sometimes we call it sakaratul maut. These are different terms, but let's say it's the same thing for now. This last period of his life is called ihtizar. In ihtizar, what is happening is, your eyes of the world are shutting. Your eyes of the barzakh are opening. It's that in-between period. You're leaving this world, you're entering into barzakh. At that moment, you begin to see and hear certain things. People around you will not hear them and will not see them. People around you will say, this guy's lost his mind. This guy doesn't know what he's saying. It's the medication. It's the machines. No, it's not. He is seeing certain things. One of the things which is seen at the time of ihtizar are certain forms. Certain forms. Things will take on a certain form and present themselves to you. Like what? So in hadith we have especially the mention of 3 things will come at the time of ihtizar. One thing which will come is wealth. I'm not talking about the money in your bank. I'm talking about the concept of wealth. Wealth will appear in a form to you. Number 2, family. I'm not talking about family members. I'm talking about family as a concept. The conceptual form of family will come to you. And number 3, the devils. The devils will also come at that time. The devils come why? See, the devils are there because they think that now this is our last ditch attempt to ruin this guy before he leaves the world. This is the last moment, the last opportunity we have to ruin this guy. Let's ruin him and let him go to the akhirat in a ruined state. So they come and they try all sorts of things. They try to misguide. They try to tell a person to leave his faith. They try to make him angry with God. They will say things like, you know what? Look at you. You had so much money in the bank. You never got a chance to use it. Look how Allah is being unfair to you. You know what? Look at your house. You made such a beautiful house. You worked 50, 40, 50, 60 years of your life that finally you can have a house which is your own. You spent so much money on this house making it beautiful. Now you won't have a chance to live in it. Look at your family. You're leaving such a beautiful wife, beautiful children. They will suffer after you. So what the devils try to do is they try to give you a feeling of anger towards Allah. That you leave the world angry with Allah. That you regret, oh God, how did Allah do this to me? Why did He treat me like this? And there are instances, by the way, of people leaving the world in this way. Another thing which will come in the form are your deeds, your good deeds. So this person in ihtizar will start to speak. He will address each of these. Don't confuse this with just mindless ramblings of a dying person. He will start to speak with each of these. He'll say to the wealth, for example, he'll say, this is my hour of need. I worked for you. I gathered you. I saved you. What will you do for me at this moment? The wealth will turn around and say, I will give you your kafan and I will say Khuda Hafiz. He'll turn to his family, the concept of family. He'll say, I looked after you, I clothed you, I housed you, I sheltered you, I nurtured you, I raised you, I worked for you, I did everything for you. What will you do for me? They'll say, you know what? We'll carry you to your grave, we'll put you in, and then Khuda Hafiz. And then he'll turn to his good deeds, and he'll say, I'm really sorry, I didn't look after you. I didn't enjoy doing you. I didn't enjoy the time I had with you. I didn't value you. I used to treat you as last priority. I used to treat you as the final thing of the day. When I have nothing else to do, then I used to turn to you now and then. I didn't look after you, but can you do anything for me in my time of need? His good deeds will turn to him and say, you know what? We'll be with you during your death, during your burial, during your questioning in the grave, during your resurrection, on the path of Sirat, in front of Allah, when you have to account for your deeds, in your hisab, in your kitab. At every stage I will be with you and I won't leave you. So, when we understand namaz as one of these good deeds, that is there, it's active, it's alive, it will never leave us. It's a trainer, it's a nurturer, it's a personal trainer. This is why we have to change our mindset a little bit. We have problems in life. We go through difficulties. Every one of us has been through loss, failure, heartbreak. Some kind of issues are there in everyone's life, and there's no getting away from that. When we say namaz will help you, what do we mean? Do we mean that, for example, okay, today I have ill health, so I start praying and then I will miraculously recover? Do we say that, for example, I'm suffering with poverty, I pray namaz and miraculously I'll become rich? No, that's not what we're saying. We are saying that no matter what situation you will be in, it will not affect you and it will not bother you. This is the secret. I will show you the most rich, successful, worldly successful, so-called successful people, with everything you can imagine, and they are the most miserable. And I will show you the most basic, I will show you the most people working in the most basic jobs, doing the jobs that no one else wants to do. They have very little, they have nothing to their name, but they are the most happiest people in the world. How? Why? Because they have this feeling, they have this contentment, they have this peace, they have this sukoon. We've lost that sukoon sometimes in our lives. Namaz will fulfill that sukoon. Namaz will give you that focus back. Namaz will nurture you. Namaz will heal you. So sometimes when people say to me, I have this problem, I have that problem, this is going wrong, that's going wrong, my du'as are not being heard. You know what the ulama reply? They say, don't say necessarily that your du'as are not being heard. Ask yourself this question. Say to your Lord, Khudaya, what is wrong in my namaz that my life is not going in the right way? What is wrong in my namaz that I'm feeling like this? What is wrong in my prayers that I'm not able to find sukoon and peace and contentment in my life? Namaz. Do not underestimate this namaz. We take it as far too light. We take it as far too something very insignificant. Let me give you a final story from the life of the great Ayatollah Bahjat, Rahmatullah alayh. Let's have a salawat on his name, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. One of the scholars narrates this. He says, once he was fortunate enough to be invited to a meeting with Ayatollah Bahjat. Someone says to him, we have a meeting. We have a limited number of people who can attend. We've chosen you as one of them. Do you agree? Would you like to attend? He said, of course. Who would refuse, right? A meeting with Ayatollah Bahjat. He said, of course, sign me up. They sign him up. Now, what do you do in this meeting? So what happens is usually, Agha will begin, he'll give an address, and then each individual will have a chance to speak with Agha, ask a question, receive the answer, and that's how it usually happens. So he goes to this meeting, and he says, I'm going to ask a question. My question will be, O Agha Bahjat, how do I become more spiritual? How do I become more closer to Allah? How do I transform my spiritual life? He said, this is going to be my question. He goes, he sits, Agha finishes his address, he goes one by one, everyone's asking their question, now his turn comes. And he asks the question, he says, Agha, how can I become more spiritual? How can I become a better person? How can I become closer to Allah? Ayatollah Bahjat replies, pray your namaz on time. And then he moves on to the next person. Now this man, he feels what? He feels, what is this? Agha has shortchanged me. What kind of question, what kind of answer is this? This is an answer for children. Naudhu billah. He says to himself, Agha has shortchanged me. This kind of answer, this is for children. Even the children know this. Anyway, whatever, he goes away. And he's thinking in his mind that, this was not really a proper answer, and I didn't get a proper answer from Agha, and I've been shortchanged. And he goes and he lives his life and whatever. Next year, the same invitation comes again. Oh Fulani, oh so-and-so, you have been invited for a meeting with Agha Bahjat. Would you like to come? He says, yes, sign me up. As he's going into this meeting, he's got a thought in his mind. The thought in his mind is, last time I got shortchanged. I wish I don't get shortchanged this time as well. He walks in. Agha is giving his address. Agha sees this person. This person is going and looking for his place to sit. He's walking along, trying to find a place to sit. Agha mentions the following in his address. He says, listen to me. Let me tell you something. This is Agha Bahjat saying. He says, listen to me. Let me tell you something. There are some people, they come to us with a question. They ask us, Agha, what do we do to improve our lives and get closer to Allah? And we tell them that you must pray on time. Then 1 year they think we have shortchanged them. They come back to us the second year. They want to ask us again, oh Agha, how do I change my life and become closer to Allah? And the thing is, I will say the same thing. Pray your namaz on time. The question is the same, the answer is the same. Then it struck him. And he said to himself, you know what, maybe there's something in this. And he goes and he starts to pray on time. And he starts to become regular in his prayers. He was praying before, but on time, every prayer on time. And he says, Wallahil Azim, when I began praying every prayer on time, I reached such a station with Allah, more than I could ever have imagined. The question is the same, the answer is the same. We neglect namaz, that's our problem. We think of namaz as just, okay, whatever. Namaz, we have to do Allahu Akbar, that's it. What happened between that Allahu Akbar and the final 3 Allahu Akbars, Allah knows. We have a joke, for example, you can't find your keys, pray your namaz, you'll remember where your keys are. You can't remember something, pray your namaz, you'll remember. Because in namaz, everything comes, right? Everything apart from Allah comes to us in namaz. Astaghfirullah. This is how we do. Ulama, awliya, no. They have a different way of looking at namaz. Namaz is the trainer of each and every person. Namaz is the thing that will sort you out. Individually, it will help each and every one of us in our lives. Namaz. So from tomorrow, we're going to start looking at this in a bit more depth. We're going to look at the attitude of namaz. Forget anything else. Forget all the highly spiritual and technical things. We're going to leave that aside for a moment. We're going to look at simply the attitude in namaz. Are we even approaching namaz in the right way? Do we know even what is namaz? Do we know even the attitude required for namaz? This will be our discussion, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My dear elders, brothers, sisters, tonight is, of course, Laylatul Qadr, the first of the 3. These nights are very special. These nights require our attention, our concentration, our effort, as much as we can. These nights are the nights in which Allah has opened the doors of His mercy. The doors of His du'as are open for them to be accepted. He hears us, He graces us, He blesses us, He forgives us. As much as you can in this night, try not to waste any time. Try not to do things which are not spiritually beneficial. Try and use every moment. If you can't think of anything to do, it's okay. Just recite something. Recite salawat, recite Allahu Akbar, recite Subhanallah, recite Surah Qadr. Anything which comes to mind. Talk to Allah. Aslan, if you don't want to recite anything, just talk to Allah. Say, Khudaya, help me. I need your help. I have problems, I have issues. I've lost people, I've lost things in my life. I've failed here and there. Help me. Connect with Allah on this night. Khayrum min alfi shahr means whatever you can do in this night, it will have the impact of an entire lifetime. The impact of tonight is that of an entire lifetime. Tonight is the night of mercy of Allah. it is also the night where we remember one of the greatest sacrifices of history. Amirul Mu'mineen. Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Assalamu alayka ya Imam al-Muttaqeen. Assalamu alayka ya Wasiya Rasul Rabbil Alameen. This night, Amirul Mu'mineen, this Ramadan and this night for Amirul Mu'mineen is very different. In this Ramadan, what they say about Amirul Mu'mineen is that they saw Ali, he was in this Ramadan eating very little. Every time Amirul Mu'mineen would not eat much. But in this Ramadan, he was eating very little and speaking very little. On the night in question, on tonight's night, he is the guest of his daughter, Bibi Kulthum. He goes to the house of his daughter, Bibi Kulthum. She has the honor of hosting the Lion of Allah for iftar. She puts in front of Amirul Mu'mineen 3 things: bread, salt, and milk. He says to her, when have you ever seen me, your father, eating more than 2 items? This is 3 items. My daughter, take one of them away. She says, I tried to take away the most simplest of them. I said, okay, I'll take away the salt. Let him at least have the milk and the bread. He stopped me. He said, no, my daughter, leave the salt. Take the milk away. Amirul Mu'mineen has his iftar. Amirul Mu'mineen then engages in ibadat. When the call comes for the pre-Fajr call, the call for tahajjud comes, what is his usual practice? He stands up. He goes out of his house and he proceeds towards Masjid Kufa. He enters the mosque. He sees everyone is there engaging in ibadat. Some people are sleeping, some people are awake. He goes towards the mihrab. He begins his tahajjud prayer. Allahu Akbar. He stands in the mihrab. They say that at this moment, Ibn Muljim comes forth. Ibn Muljim was that person. You know, they say, for example, our imams were killed either with the sword or with the poison. But I'll tell you something. Amirul Mu'mineen is that unique imam. He was killed by sword and poison. Ibn Muljim had sharpened the sword for 40 days and 40 nights. And he had dipped it in poison for 40 days and 40 nights. Such a poison that he says that I knew Amirul Mu'mineen, if I were to strike him with this sword, he would never recover. Amirul Mu'mineen is in the mihrab. The cowardly Ibn Muljim comes. He removes the sword from its sheath. He bustles through. He gets to Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen is in the most blessed position of sujood. The sujood is the most blessed position. The closest anyone can be with Allah in this world is in sajda. As Amirul Mu'mineen goes into sujood, Ibn Muljim strikes the blessed head of Amirul Mu'mineen with his sword. They say that such a fountain of blood was coming out of the head of Amirul Mu'mineen. You would think that a fountain of red blood had been opened inside the mihrab. Amirul Mu'mineen recites the famous words, Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba. By the Lord of the Kaaba, Ali is now successful. Amirul Mu'mineen, the people start gathering around. The first of them is Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Amirul Mu'mineen falls back. He puts his head into the lap of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. The blood is so much, he begins to pick up the dirt from the floor of the Masjid of Kufa and begin to put it onto his blessed head to stop the blood. As the head is resting in the lap of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hassan alayhi salam begins to uncontrollably cry, looking at his father. The tears from the face of Imam Hassan begin to roll down and they end up landing on the face of Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen, this pillar of strength, this lion of Allah, he opens his eyes, he looks at Imam Hassan, he says, my son Hassan, don't cry, have sabr, these things happen, have sabr, be strong, O Amirul Mu'mineen, you are so strong, you are giving himmat and courage even to your son Hassan. Slowly but surely, they make him get up. They run after Ibn Muljim by this time has run away. They manage to catch him, they bring him back, they have bound his hands. They have bound the hands of Ibn Muljim. They bring him in front of Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen looks at the face of Ibn Muljim. Amirul Mu'mineen has one question. He says to Ibn Muljim, was I not a good Imam, O Ibn Muljim? Was I not a kind Imam? Ibn Muljim looks down. Amirul Mu'mineen sees the hands of Ibn Muljim are tied. He says to the people, loosen his bonds. Loosen his bonds. They say, oh Amirul Mu'mineen, but he struck you. He said, it doesn't matter, loosen his bonds. They loosen the bonds of Ibn Muljim. Slowly but surely, Amirul Mu'mineen, they get him up on his feet. He is now being carried by his son Imam Hassan. The other companions are there. They all begin to carry him. They all begin to support him. He reaches his home. Two things happen when he reaches his home. Imam Hussein alayhi salam by now has heard the news of what has happened to his father. He comes out of the house. They say that Aba Abdullah had cried such an amount, such an extent, just by hearing the news. The eyes of Aba Abdullah, the eyes of Imam Hussein had become wounded. He had cried so much. Amirul Mu'mineen looks at him and says, Hussein, have sabr, my son. Don't cry over me. These things happen. May Allah give you sabr. And then Amirul Mu'mineen hears one more person crying. He hears the cries of Zainab. When he hears the cries of Zainab, now the sabr of Amirul Mu'mineen breaks. The courage of Amirul Mu'mineen breaks. Now he begins to cry, and he cries with Zainab's cries. Oh Amirul Mu'mineen, we ask you, this is Kufa, this is your home. Had you been there in Karbala, on Sham-e Ghariba, you would have seen how Zainab was crying. You would have seen how Zainab was running between the tents. You would have seen how Zainab was putting out the fire of the children. Allah la'natullahi al-qawmi al-zalimin wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalibin yanqalibun matame Hussein.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, सजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा दीन का सितुन आज गिर पड़ा सजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता सजदे में हुआ ज़ैनब हज़ी गश में है परी बीबियाँ सभी रोती है करी वा मुहम्मदा की उनमें है सजा सिजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता मुसीबता सिजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा बेफिदर हुए सिबतने नबी रोते हैं मलक अंबिया सभी मातम अली उनमें है सजा सिजदे में हुआ वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता सजदे में हुआ ज़लज़ले में है कब्र मुस्तफ़ा कांपती है आज लहद फातिमा अहले आसमा करते हैं पुकार सजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा जवाम सजारो वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता सिजदे में हुआ सा शोर शेन है आ जहान में आंधी है चली आज कूफे में जिब्राइल की आती है सजा सिजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा ومصيبتا ومحمدا ومصيبتا मुर्तज़ा हक से हम करें लोग ये दुआ पहुँचे हम न जब जल्दी आ खुदा मातम अली उस जा करे बपा सजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता सजदे में हुआ ज़ैनबे हज़ी गश में है परी बीबिया सभी रोती है करी वा मुहम्मदा की उनमें है सदा सजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता कत्ल मुर्तज़ा शोर शेन है आ जहान में आंधी है चली आज कूफे में जिब्राइल की आती है सदा सजदे में हुआ कत्ल मुर्तज़ा वा मुहम्मदा मुसीबता वा मुहम्मदा वा मुसीबता मुर्तज़ा नादे अलियन अलियन या अली अली नादे अलियन अलियन या अली या अली बादशाह जिन्नो बशर या अली या अली या वर महबूब खुदा या अली अलियन या अली साहिब शमशीर दोसर या अली अलियन या अली नाद अलियन अलियन या अली या अली बर मोहम्मद व आल मोहम्मद सलवात
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. We're going to take maybe a 2 or 3 minute break just to allow us to set up really quickly, and in case anybody needs to do wudu to prepare. But inshallah, we're going to transition directly into the amal of the 19th night of Laylatul Qadr, inshallah. May Allah accept all of our amals and du'as tonight. May Allah give us the opportunity to do the ziyarah of Imam Ali, inshallah. And please do remember each and one of us in your amal for tonight. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat. Let's recite one Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha for the marhumeens that I mentioned earlier, as well as the marhumeens from all of our families. Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha.
Yeah.
The namaz is where are the instructions of the namaz?
The mask?
Yeah. Yeah. This doesn't open on my phone for some reason. Namaz
And the niyat is not there, but
yeah.
I got a picture of him that some of the visitors were going to put it somewhere else. He's happy. He goes home. It's close there, you know. So he went in half an hour.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Please recite with me. Let's start with reciting 3 times Surah Inna Anzalnahu fi Laylatil Qadr. Recite with me and we can inshallah get into the spirit of this evening with this great surah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna Anzalnahu fi Laylatil Qadr. وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر صلوات اللهم صل على So this is the first of the 3 Layaliul Qadrs. These are momentous, brilliant occasions that Allah has granted us, that no matter what has gone past in our past, no matter what we have done, maybe we've done some sins, maybe we've done some mistakes, tonight is the night where Allah says, look, I will take care of everything you've done in the past, I'll forgive them, and I'll take care of everything you have in the future. I will bless you for the future as well. So on this night we concentrate on focusing on God, asking for His forgiveness, linking with His mercy. He's so merciful tonight that in hadith it says that even shaitan, when he sees the amount of God's mercy, even he will say that I probably will be forgiven if I ask for forgiveness. This is the amount of mercy available on this night. Tonight is not a night for wasting time and this kind of thing. We're going to go through the a'mal. Please keep your focus. Speak to Allah. If something is not connecting with you, then speak to Allah in your own way. Recite the du'as, ask for your istighfar. These are all golden moments in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every second is valuable. We're going to start with the namaz. The namaz is a 2 rakat prayer. The niyat is I am praying namaz of a'mal of Laylatul Qadr. I am praying namaz for the a'mal of the night of Qadr. Mustahab qurbatan ilallah. It's a 2 rakat prayer. Everyone prays it on their own. In the first rakat, after Surah Al-Hamd, you recite 7 times Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Surah Al-Ikhlas, and the same thing in the second rakat. Then you finish your namaz as normal, like any other prayer, and then we'll continue with the rest of the a'mal. So 2 rakats, I'm praying namaz of the a'mal of Laylatul Qadr, Mustahab Qurbatan Ilallah, 7 times Qul Huwallah in each rakat after Surah Al-Hamd.
We will now continue with the amal. We will now recite the tasbih. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Yeah, we're going to be reciting it together. I'm just waiting for the speaker. Yeah, we're reciting 100 times.
Should we start with the
70 times astaghfirullah.
No, that's, I'm just going by what's the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh.
Okay, give me 1 second. Rehan, come. Yeah. So, we'll start 70 times this one, even though I think the PowerPoint's off.
Okay, my apologies, the PowerPoint is off, so we'll start with 70 times. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh.
Thank you.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم استغفر الله وأتوب إليك 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 استغفر الله وأتوب إليك
Okay, we will now recite 100 times Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه 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 اللهم
We'll recite 100 times Allahumma lan qatla amir al-mu'mineen alayhi salam.
Can I say one thing? When we say Rabbi wa atubu ilayh, we're giving Allah the ultimate respect. We're saying my sustainer. Without Allah you cannot survive. So this is the ultimate great name of Allah. So we really be paying respect.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم لعن قتلة أمير المؤمنين 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 اللهم العن 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 قتلة أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام اللهم صل على محمد
Please open the Holy Quran and say the following. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma inni as'aluka bikitabika al-munzal wa ma fihi wa fihi ismuka al-akbar wa asma'uka al-husna wa ma yukhafu wa yurja an taj'alani min utaqaika minan nar. Hajat. Please place the Holy Quran on your head. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma bihaqqi hadha al-Quran wa bihaqqi man arsaltahu bih وبحق كل مؤمن مدحته فيه وبحقك عليهم فلا أحد أعرف بحقك منك بك يا الله 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 بمحمد 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 صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم بعلي 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 عليه السلام بفاطمة 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 بالحسن 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 عليه السلام بالحسين 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 عليه السلام بعلي بن الحسين 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 عليه السلام بمحمد بن علي 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 عليه السلام بجعفر بن محمد 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 عليه السلام بموسى بن جعفر بموسى بموسى بن جعفر 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 عليه السلام بعلي بن موسى 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 عليه السلام بمحمد بن علي 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 عليه السلام بعلي بن محمد 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 عليه السلام بالحسن بن علي 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 عليه السلام بالحجة القائم 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 عليه السلام حاجات.
Don't forget the Middle East, what's happening there. Pray for all those who are under oppression.
Okay, we'll continue with some short du'as. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم إنا أمسيت لك عبدا داخرا لا أملك لنفس نفعا ولا ضراء ولا أصرف عنها سوءا أشهد بذلك على نفسي وأعترف لك بضعف قوتي وقلة هيلتي فصل على محمد وآل محمد وانجز لي ما وعدتني وجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات من المغفرة في هذه الليلة وأتمم علي ما أتيتني فإنا عبدك المسكين المستكين الضعيف الفقير المهين اللهم لا تجعلني ناسيا لذكرك فيما أوليتني ولا غافلا لإحساتنا فيما أعطيتني ولا أسيا من إجابتك وإن أبتعت عنا في سراء أو ضراء أو شدة أو رخاء أو عافية أو بلاء أو بؤس أو نعماء إنك سميع الدعاء.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم اجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم وفيما تغفر من الأمر الحكيم في ليلة القدر وفي القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم المشكور سعيهم المغفور ذنوبهم المكفرا عنهم سيئاتهم واجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري وتوسع علي في رزقي وتفعل بي حاجة. Recite our hujjat. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وفيلا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وذليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم ارزقنا توفيق الطاعة وبعد المعصية وصدق النية وإرفان الحرمة واكرمنا بالهدى والاستقامة وسدد سنتنا بالصواب والحكمة وأملأ قلوبنا بالعلم والمعرفة وطهر بطوننا من الحرام والشرع واكفف أيدينا عن الظلم والسرقة وأغزز أبصارنا عن الفجر والخيانة وأسدد أسماعنا عن اللغو والغيبة وتفضل على علمائنا بالزهد والنسية وعلى المتعلمين بالجهد والرغبة وعلى المستمعين بالاتباع والمؤنسة وعلى مرضى المسلمين بالشفاء والراحة وعلى موتاهم بالرافة والرحمة وعلى مشايخين بالوقار والسكينة وعلى الشباب بالإنابة والتوبة وعلى النساء بالحياء والإفرة وعلى أغنياء بالتواضع والسعة وعلى الفقراء بالصبر والقناعة وعلى الغزاة بالنصر والغلبة وعلى السراء بالخلاص والراحة وعلى المراء بالعدل والشفقة وعلى الرعية بالإنصاف وحسن السيرة وبارك للحجاج والزوار في الزاد والنفقة وأقضي ما أوجبت عليهم من الحج والأمر بفضلك ورحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Please recite Surah Al-Fatiha. We will now recite the Munajat of Imam Ali.
Before we begin, if we could please recite one Surah Fatiha for all our loved ones, and specifically Marhum Arif Bira, who was my inspiration for wanting to recite this all my life. Surah Al-Mubarakatul Fatiha. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك الأمان يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. وأسألك الأمان يوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول السبيلا. وأسألك الأمان يوم يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذ بالنواسي والأقدام. وأسألك الأمان يوم لا يجزي والد عن ولده ولا مولود هو جاز عن والده شيئا إن وعد الله حق. وأسألك الأمان يوم لا ينفع الظالمين معذرتهم ولهم اللعنة ولهم سوء الدار. وأسألك الأمان يوم لا تملك نفس لنفس شيئا والأمر يومئذ لله. وأسألك الأمان يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه. وأسألك الأمان يوم يود المجرم لو يفتدي من عذاب يومئذ ببنيه وصاحبته وأخيه وفصيلته اللتوي ومن في الأرض جميعا ثم ينجيه. كلا إنها لظى نزاعة للشوى مولاي يا مولاي أنت المولى وأنا العبد وهل يرحم العبد إلا المولى. مولاي يا مولاي
المالك وأنا المملوك، وهل يرحم المملوك إلا المالك. مولاي يا مولاي أنت العزيز وأنا الذليل، وهل يرحم الذليل إلا العزيز. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الخالق وأنا المخلوق، وهل يرحم المخلوق إلا الخالق. مولاي يا مولاي أنت العظيم وأنا الحقير، وهل يرحم الحقير إلا العظيم. مولاي يا مولاي أنت القوي وأنا الضعيف، وهل يرحم الضعيف إلا القوي. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الغني وأنا الفقير، وهل يرحم الفقير إلا الغني. مولاي يا مولاي أنت المعطي وأنا السائل، وهل يرحم السائل إلا المعطي. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الحي وأنا الميت، وهل يرحم الميت إلا الحي. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الباقي وأنا الفاني، وهل يرحم الفاني إلا الباقي. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الدائم وأنا الزائل، وهل يرحم الزائل إلا الدائم. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الرازق وأنا المرزوق، وهل يرحم المرزوق إلا الرازق. مولاي يا مولاي أنت الجواد وأنا البخيل، وهل يرحم البخيل إلا الجواد. مولاي يا مولاي أنت المعافي وأنا المبتلى وهل يرحم المبتلى إلا المعافي مولاي يا مولاي أنت الكبير وأنا الصغير وهل يرحم الصغير إلا الكبير مولاي يا مولاي أنت الحادي وأنا الضال وهل يرحم الضال إلا الحادي مولاي يا مولاي أنت الرحمن وأنا المرحوم وهل يرحم المرحوم إلا الرحمن مولاي يا مولاي أنت السلطان وأنا الممتهن وهل يرحم الممتهن إلا السلطان مولاي يا مولاي أنت الدليل وأنا المتحير وهل يرحم المتحير إلا الدليل مولاي يا مولاي أنت الغفور وأنا المذنب وهل يرحم المذنب إلا الغفور مولاي يا مولاي أنت الغالب وأنا المغلوب وهل يرحم المغلوب إلا الغالب مولاي يا مولاي أنت الرب وأنا المربوب وهل يرحم المربوب إلا الرب مولاي يا مولاي أنت المتكبر وأنا الخاشع وهل يرحم الخاشع إلا المتكبر مولاي يا مولاي ارحمني برحمتك وارضى عني بجودك وكرمك وفضلك يا ذا الجود والإحسان والطول والامتنان برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
We'll now recite the Ziyarat of Qadr night.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة السيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وتلوت الكتاب حق تلاوته وجاهدت في الله حق جهاده وصبرت على الأذى في جنبه محتسبا حتى أتاك اليقين. أشهد أن الذين خالفوك وحاربوك والذين كذلوك والذين قتلوك ملعونون على لسان النبي الأمي وقد خاب من افترى. لعن الله ظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين وضاعف عليهم العذاب الأليم. أتيتك يا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله زائرا عارفا بحقك مواليا لأوليائك معاديا لأعدائك مستبصرا بالهدى الذي أنتيت عليه عارفا بالضلالة من خالفك فاشفع لي عند ربك. السلام عليك يا حجة الله في أرضه وسمائه. صلى الله على روحك الطيب وجسدك الطاهر وعليك السلام يا مولاي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي. السلام عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي ورحمة الله وبركاته. لعن الله من ظلمك ولعن الله من قتلك وضاعف عليهم العذاب الأليم. السلام عليكم أيها الصديقون. السلام عليكم أيها الشهداء الصابرون. أشهد أنكم جاهدتم في سبيل الله وصبرتم على الأذى في جنب الله ونصحتم لله ولرسوله حتى أتاكم اليقين. أشهد أنكم أحياء عند ربكم ترزقون. فجزاكم الله عن الإسلام وأهله أفضل جزاء المحسنين وجمع بيننا وبينكم في محل النعيم. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع الله ولرسوله. أشهد أنك قد جاهدت ونصحت وصبرت حتى أتاك اليقين. لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين والحقهم بدرك الجحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء السلطان بالحسن مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا. كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله لا ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته. Please recite to Rakat Namaz Hadiyat for Ziyarat.